There we go. There we go. And see, this is why I constantly come back and I say, this is not a professional production as much as we try to make it so. It's simple things like, I don't know,
Traffic.
the other
Like
33% jumping on with traffic coming
traffic.
on. It couldn't be scripted to be this like limited in professionalism, but we try here.
Like on one end, I want a producer to tell us what we're doing wrong, but also I want a producer to like fix what we're doing wrong. Like that's.
Yeah. I don't want you to tell me. Just fix the fucking shit. Get in here and do your damn job.
I mean, I've already told y'all what to, whatever. Go ahead.
Shut up, whore.
With it. That's why I'm mad with it. With it. With it. That's why I'm mad with it. Spit out the trap with it.
Quick.
Whatever you want, whatever you need, it's on tab. Get it. That's why I'm mad with it. That's why I'm mad with it.
That's where I'm at. Okay, you chasing clout? Oh no way, your shit turn.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
Welcome.
We're back.
Lloyd, you're in the front seat, bro. You took the front seat.
Oh, why am I in the front? Oh, fuck that.
I don't even know how to do it yet, so fuck it. Whatever, man.
Literally, you just remove yourself and then add yourself back in. And then you shuffle to the back of the line.
Yeah, fuck it. Welcome
Yo,
back,
somebody
everybody.
with a better mic intro to fucking pod.
What? Is this microphone bad? Is that what's going on?
No, my microphone's bad.
Oh,
okay.
what's going on, troublemakers?
Yeah,
I got a good
What's
mic.
Up, everybody? What's up,
How are
everybody?
ya?
It's another episode. We're back.
is.
And clearly, like I said, this goes right into the cold open. We haven't even fucking figured out who's going to intro this episode. That's the lack of professionalism we have today. So this is what it is. I'm going to chalk it up. It's not my responsibility. It's not my fault. I had nothing to do with it. I'm riding a high from last night, so I have an excuse. I don't know about you two degenerates.
Well, I'm
Get
just
your
going to be
shit
a
together.
loser. Like, we're not even in the playoffs.
Fuck Terrance,
Get your
yo.
shit together.
Fuck Terrance so bad right now. I
What?
literally, I said the last 13 seconds, I sent Terrance a text and said, yo, you think y'all can make it in 13 seconds? He says, no. He didn't even have faith in his team.
Who?
And then
Okay.
what happened, this motherfucker wanted to cry and yell. Shut the fuck up, Terrance.
Because the thing is this,
No.
Eddie, we know you. We know if you go, hey, you got 13 seconds, you think you do it? Yes. And then you don't, and then you won't leave us alone about that shit. We know you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
And
that's called a friend. That's what friends do.
But let's be realistic. Who in their right mind anywhere thought that at 13 seconds anything was happening? Everybody collectively.
Me. I thought that. I thought that the whole time. Yes, it did.
Genuinely.
I thought it the whole
say
time.
that all the time. Like, you know, my memory is so bad, but you'll say, I told you so, and I have zero ability to draw back and figure out what the conversation was. So
luckily, we had that conversation on the podcast, and I said, yo, I don't think we're going to make it. And you two were like, yo, Packers look really good. I was like, yeah, but the 49ers always beat us. I said the 49ers always beat us.
I do give you that.
And they did.
But speaking of evidence on podcasts, since we're kind of sticking in this realm of sports, and I have the evidence out there, I'm not looking so stupid with my Matt Stafford getting hyped up. I want to say it was earlier in this season when we were talking about top 10 quarterbacks, and I put Stafford in my top 10. And Eddie specifically got loud and wanted to try and shout down my point. Now I'm here to tell you, man.
When does that happen?
I know, right? Like that never happens. Matt Stafford.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And the entire nation finally got to see what I've been saying for years. The dude is a fucking beast. He will take any game, any team, any moment, put it on his shoulders. And sometimes that dude don't win. Obviously, you see in Detroit with the squad that he had. But fuck, man, that dude is a baller. Baller.
He balls. I mean, good for him. Hooray. Whatever.
Fuck Matt Stafford. He had to lead it. Had to lead the North before he got past the playoffs. Fuck him.
I'm just hearing some salt come from your way, Eddie. Just calm it down.
Yeah, it's all salt. That's all salt. I just want to make sure you know that. That's all fucking salt. This is all anger. This is all anger that I was right. This is one of the times that like I wish I wasn't right. You know what I mean? Like, but I knew I was right, and I would have made a lot of money if I would have bet for me to be right. But I don't bet on my Packers. You know why? Because every time I bet on my Packers, they fucking lose me money.
So. Oh, they lose you money. Okay, I was gonna say because they lost without you betting on them.
Ooh. Ooh, Sting.
I know that's what I'm saying. But like, see, look, when I bet against them, they always win. It's when I
I
bet
see.
with them, they always lose. So it was like I should have bet, and we probably the gods of the gambling realm would have probably, you know what I'm saying, let us win.
Yeah.
But shit happens.
So
Lucky.
so let's stick to your game and talk about that one and go in. What went wrong? Because when they started out, man, Aaron was throwing good. People were catching. They were moving. They scored well. It was very efficient. And then as
What game
the
you
game
watch?
went on, it was like early in the game. So and then
First three
early it
plays.
goes, Jimmy G couldn't seem to connect with the receiver. It seemed like their whole offensive scheme was just gone. But then it just like it was like that
So
four-man rush could be
you gotta say
unstoppable.
two things happen. You gotta say two things happen. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are normally scoring 21 to 35 points a game, right? If we do that, we win that game, right? That's one. Two, we had a block field goal for extra three, which would have sent the game into overtime if they would have made that, even with
Right.
everything else happening. And then we had a block punt that was their only score of the game. That was the only time they scored a touchdown in the game. They blocked a punt, bro. Everything else was field goals. So it's like Jimmy G didn't really do anything besides not throw away the ball, which is and he still fucked up a couple times. But
Right.
we didn't score. We didn't profit off of him throwing away the ball. You know what I mean? Their
Which is,
defense was so fucking nasty. It was ridiculous.
I mean, you have to take into consideration, like, what's the likelihood of getting a punt blocked? It's like it's rare. It's out of all the punts, like it happens so rare. And
What's
then
the
same
likelihood
thing-
of getting a punk and a field goal
and,
block
yeah,
in
I
the
was gonna say,
same game?
they are both outliers. They barely ever happen. It's like you're gonna kick a field goal. You're just hoping that they miss. That's really 90% of what's going on.
But that's the thing about the Packers is like obviously I'm not even a Packers fan, but you watch if you even remotely pay attention to the NFL, you know they've had issues at kicker. And Matt LaFleur and company just never addressed it all year. They were like, no, we don't care. Like
That's
Which
because
is
Mason Crosby goes through his stints, right? Like most kickers besides fucking Robbie Goat, like they go through their stint, but they can't make make it worth a damn, and then they make fucking 50 in a row. So it's like Mason Crosby has been like that, but he didn't miss. The line just got bulldozed by their fucking by their line. You know what I'm saying? Like
never
because
happens.
yeah,
that's the big point that to me sticks out about San Fran that makes them so good and so scary. Is for the most part, they stayed only rushing 4 down linemen. That was it. Everybody else played their assignments, their gaps in coverage. That's how
Bosa,
good
bro.
that's how good their defense is. Like that's
Joey
insane.
Bosa.
In today's league, they are getting away with rushing 4 down linemen and leaving everybody else to play assignments. That doesn't happen. That's insane.
I mean, it's like, yeah, we're gonna let you fuck up. Like we're gonna rush you if we can, but for the most part, it's up to you to not fuck up.
Yeah, that's such a
Yeah, I'm
brutal
done talking
level
about
of.
it. I'm sorry.
All right, so on to the next one, man. We almost saw Loy's boy.
I
Tom.
wasn't gonna relive the tears of Saturday.
It still hurts.
It was just people just texting me like, "Are you okay?" Like, "Fuck you, leave me alone."
Don't talk to me, please. Your boy Tom almost made a comeback, made almost another round of history. That whole 28-3, he almost had 27-3 become a thing, and that didn't become a thing. So it was another hell of a game.
I mean,
Yeah, how did you feel about that, Lloyd? Jeez.
I wasn't watching it. I was just ESPN goes, "Oh, you're not watching this? Great. We're going to send you a notification on every play." And for the most part, I mean, Tom, if anyone could do it, it would be Tom, right? And if anyone could do it and everyone goes, yeah, that makes sense. It's Tom Brady. Yeah, I didn't watch it. I can't. It's like a former relationship that I'm just watching from afar. I wish him the best, but I can't.
Yo, everybody knew Tom's coming back. Like it was like 27-3. And the only thing you heard the announcers is like, well, he still has a shot. He still has a shot. And they tied it up, which is crazy.
Crazy. Just There is time.
I looked at my wife literally at like that 8.5 minute mark when the Rams were driving and they were looking to make it 30 to what was it, 13 or what it
Wasn't
at
a
that
lot.
point it was 27-13. That's what it was at that point, and they would have went up to 30-13, essentially making it 3 possessions. It was right around that 8.5, 7.5 minute mark. And I looked at my wife and I said, if the Bucks can stop them here, we've got a game because it's still technically. They go back and fucking tie it up. Like everybody thought Tom was doing it again, and it just didn't happen because Stafford was so fucking cold with it.
I mean, but would you say that Stafford was? I don't know, man. That Rams D, no homo. Like that Rams front four is disgusting, bro.
Yeah.
Like you got Aaron Donald on one side, and then you got Von Miller on the other side. Fuck whoever's in the middle, bro. Like
I could
you
be
know
in
what
the
I'm
middle.
saying? Like God, yeah. Like come on, bro.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
Nasty.
they say the same thing about when it was Ndamukong Suh and Donald on the same side, right? Yeah, they were saying the same thing, like, oh, unstoppable, and they made it to the Super Bowl.
Yep. So then,
Yeah, I mean, but Dominic Sue came up and got the fumble to put Tampa Bay
For
back
the
in
for
the
the other
game.
side.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
yep. Then you had the Cincinnati game in Tennessee. I don't know if y'all watched that one. That one was a bit of a
I
barn
didn't
burner.
watch one at all.
Joe, it was just one of those ones where it just didn't have that same feel. I found myself kind of flipping back and forth because every other play it seemed like Joe Burrow was getting sacked and Tannehill just was the old Tannehill. So there was nothing.
The old Tannehill, the good old Tannehill, or the like potential
Nah,
Tannehill. Which one
the,
are we talking about?
the Tannehill that got booted from Miami and for rightful
Ah,
reasons, like it seemed like he came back down to earth yesterday after what seems like a last 2 seasons or so of everybody being like, oh, but Tannehill. It's like he's
well,
only good because Derrick Henry.
nobody's whoa. Nobody's been talking about Tannehill. Like Tannehill's like
Yes, people
one
have.
of the top 10. Not
No, not
no,
top
not in the
10.
top 10 quarterbacks. Not in the
Not
top
top
10.
10.
Only thing that Tannehill has done, which has been everything that the Titans needed, was game manage. He
Mm-hmm.
game manages very, very well. He's not the greatest thrower. He's not the greatest runner. He's not the great, but he can see shit on the field and be like, all right, switch. You know what I'm saying? Go this way. All right, short dump off. Hey, I
Yeah,
might get a long one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's mostly the run game that the Titans have that's fucking
for sure.
disgusting.
Without question. They've got one hell of a run game and they've got a solid ass defense that can fly to the ball and hit. But everything came back crashing down with just a little bit of pressure on Tannehill, and you saw the whole thing crash. So now you've got what appears to be the NFC is set with Los Angeles Rams and why am I dropping it? The San Francisco 49ers. So you have them, and the AFC Championship game is coming through Kansas City once again. So I'm pretty happy that Kansas City beat the Bills last
Oh,
night.
shut up.
through the kingdom.
That was this was a hell of a game, man. Whether you're a Chiefs fan or not, you got to admit that was a pretty fucking
No,
crazy.
that was a heck of a last minute. Like I don't understand why you kicked the ball. So I don't know. Like that was poor game management, bro.
So I'm definitely confused as to why McDermott went for the long kick because in my mind, a squib kick would have been the smart play to get them to touch it, make contact, and start eating time. They've got 3 timeouts in 13 seconds. You would have at least gotten 3, maybe 4, 10,
Yeah, but
9
I think I, I
seconds.
think his I think his thought process was if we play quarters, we'll be fine if we don't let him get to the field goal range. And then Travis Kelsey looked like he was about to score a goddamn touchdown in the middle of the field. Like it was one of, like everybody's like, oh, Mahomes, Mahomes, Mahomes. I'm like, nobody saw that fucking move Travis Kelsey put on that dude to get open.
Oh,
Like
oh,
the jab to the left and then cut back. Like, dude, it was fucking crazy. Like,
nasty,
yeah,
nasty. So I had a pretty good night.
So, I mean, we're gonna definitely say the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl, right? I mean,
I hope, man.
Do you think Cincinnati has a chance?
I
No
think
bullshit.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think they have.
yeah.
I think they have a chance because Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. That connection is nasty.
It's
However,
disgusting.
However, I will say when we played them and lost a few weeks ago, one, we were in Cincinnati. And then just to give context, they got 7 or 8 tries from the goal line based on penalty yards alone.
Okay.
7 or 8
So
tries on the final drive.
This is my only look at it, Terrance. This is my only look at it, right? One, I don't think Joe Burrow is the truth. I don't. But I don't think they. But I don't think. Hold on. But I don't think the defensive coordinators have figured them out all the way. You know what I'm saying? Like you get what I mean? Like you know how like so you got a rookie quarterback that people haven't figured out all the way, and Kansas City defense ain't that. Y'all defense ain't the shit.
We see it all the time. We see it. Every rookie quarterback is like that. Mariota was like that. Second sophomore kind of got crushed. Griffin, freaking name them. And this is not
but the difference is that Joe Burrow's team is actually good. Like Cincinnati is actually a good team. You get what I'm saying? So my point is that my only point that I'm making is I think that they can expose Kansas City. Like Joe Burrow, this is the best time for him to try to win a Super Bowl because I think by next year or in 2 years, everybody's going to figure him out.
I think the thing that he has boding very well for him again and can't be understated is Jamar Chase. The fact that they played together in college to establish that connection, won a championship there, and then are now at least formulating some semblance of the same chemistry they had is definitely nasty. For me, man, like I'm not going to sit there and pretend like Kansas City's defense is monster or anything, but Buffalo hadn't punted in their last 4 or 5 games, and they punted 3 times yesterday. I say all that to say we've picked up well enough. If we can just get a referee crew that is about what they were last night and isn't so fucking involved like they were against Cincinnati the first time.
Jordan. Yeah.
I'm just saying, man. Like, I'm just saying.
Go ahead, Dak Terrance.
I hate how much the refs have been involved in key games. My game or not, they're too fucking involved in
Terrance Prescott over here. Stop fucking up. How about that? I'll stop fucking up. How about y'all stop doing that?
No, don't be be one of those people, because if you're one of those people that still wants to steal in today's climate and watch today's game and you want to say, oh, refs don't decide games, you're fucking lying to yourself.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying though is that refs do not decide games. Refs do help games along. But if you're fucking up and it's blatant.
How is that not the same? They help them move along. So then you go like this, right? You go, okay, third and 5, and then or second and long, and then you get to 3rd and 5, and then you blow a whistle, and now it's first out. Like how can you decipher the difference? There isn't a difference.
Okay.
Exactly.
So there is a difference. The difference is if there's a blatant holding call and you fall on top of a fucking player, how do I not call that? You get what I'm saying? Like
no,
in the sense of helping the game along. Like it's like, dude, you call this shit. If for 5 fucking plays you've been holding this fucking DN because you don't want the DN to get a sack for 5 plays and I only call it once. Like I'm helping the game along, but now you're upset because I only called it once. Like shut the fuck up, bro. He was holding 5 plays in a row.
You're conflating things. Like we can go for blatant examples against the Saints. How many times in a row now? Like that's extreme end of that shit decided a game on the most blatant pass interference call. There's no fucking way you couldn't miss it. And it was at a time where they were allowing reviews to be initiated.
Yeah, remember they didn't call it.
All of that. No, I agree.
They didn't, but I'm saying they didn't call it. So hold on. So you don't want you want them to stop calling, or you want them to start calling? Because at the last 2 minutes, go ahead.
I want them to be good enough at their fucking job and consistent. That's what I need. And that's what they lack at both of those. Because what's a pass interference for one crew is significantly different to the next. That shouldn't be a thing. It shouldn't even be a thing that you have a referee that's like, oh,
then you want robots to call the game, and it's going to be a boring ass game, bro.
No, I don't want robots to call the game.
Yeah. No. I would very much like they do it in rugby. They've got a judging they got a judge in the stands, somewhere in the box, and they go, they look at it. If it's fucking blatant, they whistle down. They go, hey, Terrance, take a look at that play. Look at number 47, see what's what. And then they look at it in the big screen. Literally, the ref will stand on the field, looking at the Jumbotron, and just go, oh yeah, that was fucked. And they call the penalty.
Like the Tennessee game, I think, is a prime example where he got an interception as the ball had touched the ground. If you guys saw that particular play, so Joe Burrow threw the ball, the Tennessee defender goes to catch it. The ball hits the ground as his fingers hit the ball. The ball doesn't wiggle. He goes through. It looks like a catch to the referee call. They go through, they do the replay, and you can clearly see that it hits, right? Now, they didn't overturn it because they said they had to go with the pre-existing rule about the ground causing contact with his hands at the exact same time, but if he secures the catch, we're good. I say all that to say the ref's initial call mattered on the replay because they called it a catch and it was all bang, bang like that. The rule precedent sets that the play on the call made by the refs is what stands. Shit like that makes sense. I don't need computers completely involved in this, but like those against the Saints, again, I'll bring that up, or any other ones where it's like, oh, I'm staring at the Jumbotron. Yeah. Everybody and their fucking mom can see how terrible this is. This is not a good look for the NFL to not go back and adjust and fix the shit.
Yeah. Well, I'm harping on it, but the rugby does that. International rugby, they stand on the pitch, they look at the Jumbotron, and they go, and you hear it over the mic being like, hey, run it back. Let me see the thing. I want to see what, and you can hear what they're asking to see versus going under this tent and just fucking dicking off and just being like, yep, it is what we call it. We call it what we want.
40 odd minutes have passed by and you're like, that doesn't make sense. What are we doing?
Yeah. Like, what did you,
just play the
fuck you guys.
Game. So everybody knows the rules. Everybody knows the rules.
That's all I'm
saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. I can understand the argument.
I want to see them talk us through the decision versus like, fuck them. It's what we call it. And then
look at here, you fucking Karens. Like, I'm not walking you through shit. I made a fucking call. That was the call. Get the fuck on with your lives, man. I just want a ref to say that shit.
I mean,
they do. Okay, they literally do. Like, we didn't see it. Go fuck yourself.
Just professionally, right? So this kind of leans into the territory that everybody's talking about, and it's burning up the internet now. Everybody wants to talk about rule changes. Everybody's harping on that overtime rules. I would like to point out, Kansas City was burned by this exact same overtime rule thing that happened 4 years ago at the AFC Championship game. We come back with roughly 20 some odd seconds left. Hit the field goal. We go into overtime, lose the coin toss. Tom Brady, New England, marches on down. It goes this. Kansas City proposed a rule change to say, hey, maybe we should look at both teams getting to be able to touch the ball in overtime. What do you think, NFL? And
go fuck yourself.
Pretty much all of the NFL, including the Bills, were like, yeah, no, we don't see the reason for that change.
Up until that point,
no
like, whatever.
It was only you that got fucked. We don't care.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like that change. Like, all right, first off, let's start. I got you, but listen, hold on. I got your question. We came from that whoever won the coin toss, first person scores win. Mm-hmm. Then we went to if it's a field goal and then a touchdown. I don't have time to sit here for fucking the Bills and the Chiefs to score 5 fucking touchdowns in overtime, bro. No. Put your best defensive players out there. You need to stop these motherfuckers, and then y'all get on the field and y'all try to score. Simple as that.
So are you saying you are fine with the overtime rule as is?
As is, bro. The only one that I do like, and I know somebody talked about it, the only one I do like is the owner from the Raiders, before he died, said one team pick where the ball goes, and then from that point, the other team says, do you want to defend or do you want to play? And then you just play that bitch out from there.
The spot one. Yeah, the spot and go, I think, is what they called that one. See, I'm still a fan of collegiate rules where each team gets a chance. I think if you just adjusted the yard line, because NFL kickers have a significantly larger range than collegiate kickers, adjust it. Maybe you start the drive at your 30 or your 35, and then you go from there. You get whatever drive you get, but the other team is guaranteed something. I feel like that flip of the coin toss, man, like I don't hate it.
Because that will make or break you.
Yeah.
Or just
flip the
stop
coin
the
cards, bro.
person from scoring.
We
I
got
mean,
to
I don't
overtime.
get
We
it.
have a hard time. We are in overtime. We had a hard enough
Exactly.
time stopping them through for the
That's my
last 60
point.
minutes.
I mean,
That's my
that's kind
point.
of the,
Dude, I don't want nobody on that field that goddamn long. One, on player safety, and two, I don't feel like watching this game.
So Eddie just wants less football. Okay, great, done. Less
No,
football,
I just
everybody.
want more action and less time to get to
That is the best
it.
type of action. The overtime.
No, that's fatigue, bro. That's when people get hurt. If you
but
go, all right,
that's
the
what
Kansas
overtime
City couldn't
was.
stop the Bills. The Bills couldn't stop Kansas City. All right, if both of them get the ball, it's gonna be literally 3 more fucking touchdowns, bro.
Yeah,
No
but that's why.
time.
But
No
that's
time.
why.
Just you get a possession. I get a possession.
Yeah.
Whoever gets more points at the end of the possession, fuck it, we win.
I was about to say that's why.
This is
Like,
pool.
but that's why they do like collegiate rules, right? Is like I wouldn't even wait till the third time. I'd say like immediately you have to go for 2 or something along those lines to make sure that it's sped up. I saw one that was like you could quell it even by whoever wins the coin toss in the initial is the one that's assumed to win the coin toss. So you going into the game knowing if this thing goes into fucking overtime, you already have a strategy in place. I'd prefer that even, right? Like, so if I win the coin toss to start the game, I defer. I get the right to defer or however I do it. But we know when that game starts, if this thing goes to overtime, we know I get the choice. I think that would help out at least some level of like
Or let's just
strategy,
keep
game
it
calling stuff.
exactly the way it is.
But also, there'd be a lot of gamesmanship where you know that you get the overtime coin toss, you defer, and then the team goes, okay, they play the game, and then when I get the ball back, I know I can win with a field goal, or I can win with a touchdown and an extra point, or a touchdown and a 2-point. I think it's just better that they both get a chance. Like, I want more football, people.
Yeah, I definitely see, and I'm not pressed about the rules. It was funny that like when everybody talked about the rule change, everybody's like overtime, overtime, overtime. I don't really give a shit. Like, I mean, I kind of do. It would be nice to change it because I like that. But realistically, I hope they change the fucking pass interference rules. That's the one that I fucking hate the most. I'm so tired of NFL's pass interference.
What is it about it that it bothers you?
I'm so sick of the spot foul, bro. Like this 50-50 ball, these fucking quarterbacks throw up half the time because they know it's a 50-50 shot. Guy's going to catch it or potentially get a significant chunk in yards on a bullshit pass interference. Like, it's ridiculous that you can get 40 plus yards, 50 plus yards
pass interference.
on a pass. Like, that's come on, man.
Well, at that point, you're just chucking it 90
Peyton
yards.
Manning was
hope
fucking
for the best.
notorious for that. Peyton Manning was fucking
Oh yeah,
notorious
so is Aaron Rodgers
for that. Got to do away with that one. That's the one that like really gets
What would you do? What would you do? 15 yards?
I'd keep it at 15, man, until you get to that point to where now it's like half the distance to the goal. And I've had people argue with it. Well, then why wouldn't you just keep committing the penalty if it's not? It's like, dumb fuck. You're still giving away free yards. And at some point, you're just going to keep giving them an inch and an inch and an inch till they're like a cunt hair shy of the goal line. And you're basically giving it to them anyways. It'd be the same thing.
Yeah,
you're just taking away massive chunks of yards.
I think 10 yards is a good gamble. 15 yards is enough to make them go, nah, we're good. But it doesn't give the quarterback an incentive enough to just, let me just throw it in this general direction.
Exactly.
Hope for the best.
Exactly. And that to me is one of the biggest issues in the game because, man, like guys are up there jerking and fighting for the ball anyways. And then you're going to all of a sudden get nitpicky because it was the defender who got a little handsy this time. And now like, it's just bullshit.
It's almost getting to the point where I feel like you can call a pass interference almost every play. Like you could, like holding, right?
Yep.
Where you just go, yeah, he's slapping around, grabbing his ass on the way up. I mean, it's a matter if you want to call it. It's a matter if the referee wants to impose his will upon the game.
Yep.
Who does this guy owe money to? I'm curious.
I'm telling you, man, and that's where it's like the consistency. We lack all of that. That's what I want to see is better, more efficient refereeing. I don't need it to be everything instant replay, everything computer based, but come the fuck on.
I would like to have a squad in the booth, that just can say, nope, call it back. Fuck you.
Yep. Something, man. You need something like that.
You know what else is pretty horrific as far as like judges? UFC. UFG judges are fucking
yeah.
trash sometimes. I swear to God, no bullshit. I decided I wanted to figure out how to be a judge, like for boxing and MMA. Here I'm in Nevada. Apparently, you just have to show up, right? You just have to have some amateur promoters put you on. I don't think there's a class. There's not a handbook. It's just, I don't know. You figure it out on the job training, and it shows because not only are you on the job training for boxing, which the rules are intended, the point system is intended for boxing, but you are out there guessing when it comes to MMA. That's why MMA ruling doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Did you watch the UFC fight?
Only the highlights. I didn't watch the whole thing.
I don't. I'm an old school guy where I say the champion, you have to legitimately beat the champion. The champion will win the 50-50 ball. The champion will win the coin toss every single time. And the more we see it, the more we come to the realization that nobody knows what's going on. We're all guessing and we're hoping for the best. So I said that to say this. Brendan Moreno at 135, 25, 35, 25. At 125, defended his belt against Figueiredo from Brazil, and he lost on the cards. I disagree with the cards altogether. The card said he won unanimously. All the judges were in favor of him winning. I don't think he did enough, and I don't think he did enough to win the fight, and I don't think he did enough to beat the champ on the cards.
Well, it's pretty telling too. Even in
hold on, hold on. Are you saying you think Francis didn't win, or you think Francis did win?
No, we're talking about Brandon Moreno. We haven't gotten there yet, sir.
Yeah,
we're not talking about
I'm sorry.
black fighters yet, okay? Yeah. We haven't talked about the African fighters yet. We're talking about the small guys. Sorry. That's where I start.
We're still on the small guys. No, but it's telling even when like judges do talk about their scorecards and you see the disparity. It's like, how did you two sitting right there get such a vastly different look on this? And it's very much that. Yeah, nobody really has a clue what the fuck we're doing. But
in the three people that are hired, that are sitting there, that apparently are quote unquote trained in experts. in the same vein of scoring, they'll go, "Oh, this guy won 5 rounds and this guy won 3 rounds." You're like, "How did you fuck up 2 rounds? Like, how is there such a disparate discrepancy?" And it's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm that old guy where I'm like, no, you have to beat the champion. If anyone's like, I don't know who won, the champion should leave with the belt.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I'm definitely old school in that. Like, however you want to say it, to be the man, you got to beat the man, whatever the case. Like, if it's anything other than a knockout, it's really hard for me to say, oh, yeah, you won. Because the technicalities, because the score sheets and everything are so arbitrary. It's not like the end of it, you get any of the judges that are like, this is what I scored and the why. It's just, this was my round, this was my round, this was my round. Hey, here we're raising up his arm.
And what's wild, this is the thing that bothered me always about boxing since a young kid. You know, you're boxing 12 matches or 12 rounds in a match, and you don't know the score. Could you imagine playing football? No scoreboard, just out there guessing. And then the number is arbitrary. You score a touchdown. It could be 6, could be 20. Who knows? Like, it's whatever a guy in the stands decide that touchdown was worth.
Even like where my passion lies, right? In like wrestling, like actual wrestling, freestyle, Greco-Roman, any of that stuff. There's a score sheet, right? I even know like if there's a fucking count on me because I've got back exposure, because my back's been to the mat. I've got riding times like on the clock to see, oh, he's been riding for 2 minutes, so we know that that's going to be the point. Oh, it's dwindling down because I've reversed and been right. Like,
it's all there.
No, you can see it. I understand. Oh, he's got 3 because he had a takedown and an escape.
Yep.
Now I know where the fuck I'm at.
And you can sit there, look at the scoreboard, you're holding, and you go, oh, if I reverse it in the next, okay, hold on, I got to wait 30 seconds, and then I can reverse it, and then I win. This is like fucking fuck around and find out.
Every time. And the best indicator you have, and even then it's shoddy as fuck because it's a crowd, but the best indicator you have is maybe the crowd trying to egg you on if you're close.
The worst. That is the worst. Right. Like, because we as viewers get sucked into the, oh, well, he's got to be winning. He's got to win because the crowd is going crazy. And then
Right.
you watch it again. You watch it again. You watch it again, no volume. And you go, oh, we were lied to. Because you realize that the stadium is full with like people who barely know what the sport is. Like they don't understand the rules. They don't understand. They've never boxed.
Yeah.
Like with football, the stadium is filled with people who actually probably played football at some like peewee, high school, junior high, somewhere, right? The majority. In boxing, I bet you 7 people have boxed in their life in that stadium.
It's so crazy too, man. And they'll run that fucking hype train. And again, you get no explanation. So they'll be like, oh, well, fill in the blank won the first round. He's gonna have a bit to overcome. What's a bit? Like,
yeah.
What are we talking about? Like, there's no metric for me to say, okay, this is what I need to do. Obviously, you've got your corner man as somebody that's going to have a semblance of an idea of what you're doing, but it's super fucking arbitrary.
But then you listen to the cornermen talking to their fighter and you realize that this is not our conversation. This is not a conversation between like they are telling them what they need to know in order to not die in there.
Exactly. That was about to be the thing is they're telling them what to do in order to not lose. They're not even telling them like, oh, hey, this is how you need to go forward and this is how you can win. Oh, no, this is just to prevent you from getting knocked the fuck out or choked the fuck out. Like,
right. And it's like, so there was a couple, I don't know, fight maybe last year or something like that where the coach got in the guy's face and was like all aggressive, super aggro. And people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you're talking to him. He's 24 years old. He's a kid. Like, you can't talk to him. It's like, no, you don't understand how fighting works. And the same way we don't get to hear what the coaches in football are talking to their players, we shouldn't hear what the cornermen are talking about.
Agreed.
Just cut to a fucking commercial. Exactly. Do the overhead and you see that they're shoving shit in the guy's nose and trying to iron out his face. Cut to the commercial, come back, let these kids fight.
Yeah, because at that point, man, now you've injected too many people into the personal space. And it's like anything that we do here on the internet. Like you're injecting too much of, I don't know, do you want to call it 20/20 hindsight or something in a scenario that like, sure, if everything was calm, cool, collected, we didn't have to worry about this and that. Yeah, I should probably talk to you like an adult. But right. Motherfucker, like this is fighting. This is football. This is a combat sport. This is something where emotions and physicality are have to be managed a certain level. But at the end of it, like you're still talking to
a guy that could potentially get killed.
Yes, like. And sometimes you got to rein that motherfucker in. Like,
and we have to understand that, like, listening to a cornerman talk to his fighter that they've been training together for years, for at least 8 weeks in the training camp. It's like listening to a NFL huddle, wide eye right, Z47, shoot up. We don't even understand, and we're trying to make it make sense, and then we get upset about whatever we made sense. Yep. What the repercussions of that is. Same thing with cornermen. They go, hey, I'm going to need you to do X, Y, Z. And you're like, oh, I've never fought before in my life, but I'm going to go with that's wrong.
Yeah. It's all the stupid people, man, that sit there and do that. Because Richard Sherman, he pops up into my mind as a prime example from a couple of years ago when he did that whole deal with Aaron Andrews. You remember that? After he had shut down, what's his name? He was the wide receiver for San Francisco, Crabtree. He had shut down Crabtree because they had an online back and forth.
Right.
Richard Sherman was still playing with the Seahawks. They win the game. After Sherman had batted something down, Aaron Andrews comes up to be like, how did you feel? Dude's still amped. They just fucking finished the game. And he's like, don't you ever disrespect me. I'm the best corner in the game. And people wanted to lambast this dude. And it's like, do you understand the emotions of that moment? This dude probably did feel disrespected.
Yep.
He did just pull off a massive thing on a massive stage in front of a shitload of people
to win a game. To literally win the game.
Win the game.
We as kids always think like, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, bases loaded. We're down by 3. Like that is the scenario running through every safety's head. Like
if you're shooting around in basketball, you're like, oh, let me slide
5,
on out, trip it
4,
out. He's out there at the
3.
top of the arc. Boom, we got it. Like, what are we doing here, people?
That is him shutting down Crabtree on I think it was like a playoff game. Mm-hmm. the last play of the game to win it. That is that same equivalent a scenario for people who play defensive backs.
Exactly. It's like all of that. And
We
you
are
get
just
these, yeah,
yeah,
we
we're
can't
just
be pretty.
yeah, you can't. And
Yep.
anyways, so the UFC fight, the card was great. There, the prelims were great. The post fight, we got to see Francis Ngannou become. We got to watch Francis, the baddest man on the planet, Ngannou, become literally the scariest, baddest person on the planet. He evolved his game. He saw some takedowns. We saw some groundwork.
That was going to be the big thing I said from the highlights I saw. It was like his groundwork looked like it steadily improved.
You can't fake groundwork and you
No.
can't rush it. It is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. And everyone was like, oh, Cyril's going to be smart and not want to get punched. And he's going to take it to the ground. And then that is where Francis is going to get fucked. Kind of happened that way. And Francis was not the one that was getting fucked. So I was very impressed. Very scary, man. The fact that you could evolve so quickly, frightening.
Yeah. When you have guys like that can evolve, it makes you realize like what level they're on. But speaking of UFC, man, Dana White came out with something. He said he expects the one and only Conor McGregor to fight later this year after having broken his leg. That wasn't something that I pushed into one of the topics, but it was just something I read earlier today that Dana White either he was on a podcast, on a press conference or something that.
I think it was his own podcast, the Full
Maybe it
Send
was.
podcast.
And basically just said he fully expects Conor to be in shape and ready to take on a fight at some point. I think he was aiming even at summertime. And I'm like, ooh.
Well, I mean, a
Ooh.
broken leg is better than a torn ACL, MCL, ligament, or anything like that because there's like no physical rehab, so to speak. I am curious. I am curious to see like how fucked up he is in the head because we know that people who break their shit are fucked in the head, especially when it comes to kicking. Which Conor McGregor is a kicker.
He's a kicker. Yeah, that was going to be my thing, right? Is based on how everything went down, how he did the kicks, how he does kicks in general, to then come back and then the leg breaking that way. It's like, will he be like? I know what he'll portray himself as. I know how he's going to play media. I know that his mouth is still going to be on fire. But I'm very curious if he steps into the octagon, what's the actual Conor going to look like when those blows start swinging? You know what I mean? Like, shit changes.
I think we've talked. I know Eddie and I have talked about this, but the problem that I have with the UFC generally is that there are no tune-up fights. Mm-hmm. Like if Conor McGregor were to go in there and fight some unranked trash can just to get his feet wet, he would get lambasted.
Mm-hmm.
Boxing happens all the time. You can win the belt and then fight a guy that just got off his couch, and people don't think twice about that. But not in the UFC. He's got to fight a top 5 guy, and he's got to keep on fighting top 5 guys. If he fights number 5, his next fight's got to be 4 or 3, and then 2 or 1, and then the champion. Very strange.
Or you'll never get back to the same circle that you were even remotely in if you don't do that. And I think that's where it's absolutely problematic for the UFC for that reason, because I don't say it's impossible to expect because they obviously expect it, but it's hard for me to understand how you could honestly put that sort of demand on these dudes, knowing how much training these guys do in the off season, what type of training advantage that gives you when you don't have to recover from whatever injury. I mean,
also I would say like the pay is very strange. You can't pay Conor, or they won't pay Conor McGregor money to fight the UFC equivalent of me, right? He's just not going to fight that guy. You're going to pay that guy $12 and Conor McGregor $50 million. Fuck that. That's not going to happen. No. Which I guess leads me to, I read this crazy stat, the whole UFC card in its entirety, the fight pay was $1.8 million. Total. If you threw every fighter's salary in one pot, Francis Ngannou included, $1.8 million.
Yeah, that sounds so horrifically bad. Like, Just reading that off the top, man, that makes you wonder, like, is this whole thing with Jake Paul going at Dana White, is it about him really caring about fighters' money and what they're making or not making, which he says, or is it him trying to get in the UFC? But I don't know, man. You're lending some credence there to old Jake Paul, which
I mean,
it's never a good fucking thing.
We all knew it was bad. We all knew it was not good, and nowhere in the general vicinity of adjacently good. But to have Francis Ngannou, heavyweight title holder, versus the interim title holder, to only make $600K and $500K respectively for a pay-per-view.
I was about to say a paper, like this isn't like this charity ran thing. This isn't I don't know, throwing something fucking crazy that I can't think about, like a fan induced one. Like that's the only way I can think about.
Fight.
Yeah, like 1.8 is like, hey, I threw together something, got it sanctioned, and they okayed me to do it in my backyard with relative safety equipment. And you're like, yeah, get what you can.
Yeah, it's like Kimbo Slice backyard punch my face open type money.
What are we doing here, people?
And for context, I think Tyson Fury was making like $40 million a fight. The money disparity. So when Paul was saying something about the fighters' pay, he wasn't wrong, and we knew he wasn't wrong.
Right.
It doesn't matter what he cares about or not. The fact that he wasn't wrong, and then you look at it and you go $1.8 million on a pay-per-view. This wasn't a fight night in fucking
1.8 million sounds more accurate to like the viewership, right? Like if you were to tell me, hey, pay-per-view 1.8 mil, I'd be like, that's how many viewers you got. Okay,
yeah, okay, cool. What else is the rest of the story? Because that's not crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like that to me legitimately sounds like a viewer number. But then you're like, oh, this is what it raked in for the what the fuck are we talking about? Like,
could you imagine getting kicked in the face for $12,000 with the option to win at an additional $12,000? You got kicked in the face and kicked somebody in the face for $24,000.
No. Let's up the stakes and make it what it is. You are going to get that same 12,000 to be kicked in the face by one of the greatest in the world to be able to do it.
Yep.
Then if you win, we'll throw you another 12.
Another 12.
It's like, wait a minute. You're saying I got to go against the best in the world? Like, I realize I'm also in that same realm of best in the world, but for 12,000, I just want to beat up a playground kid. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, for 12,000, I could sell T-shirts.
Exactly. Like, no. I'll go work a couple of shifts at McDonald's for 12,000.
For 12, you know what? I might get punched in the face at McDonald's, but I'm definitely not positively going to get kicked in the face at McDonald's.
Yeah. It's not a guarantee. It's a very slight. I'll never say it's impossible. There's always a chance.
Yeah,
but it's significantly lower than if I'm fucking around with you guys.
Right. Because I step into this octagon, I am definitely going to get punched in the face. Positive.
Yeah.
What's going on, Eddie? Welcome back.
I go to McDonald's. They're just going to bitch at me because they didn't get senior citizens discount on Sunday. Like,
you're more likely to get hit in the face with a bag of fries than you are going to get kicked in the face at McDonald's. Yeah. I'll take that for $12,000.
There's no fucking way, man. So we'll keep it in the sports realm, man. We see that Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, popped up in the news. Billionaire, one of the sharks for the Shark Tank. He's out there doing good things. He launched an online pharmacy where he offers prescription drugs for significantly cheaper. I gotta say, man, like that's boss fuck. Like that's not Batman, like full on Batman levels, but that's like realistic Batman billionaire like expectation here. Like you're doing something good here.
Yeah, and everybody knows because the healthcare here is shit that medication could cost you thousands of dollars a year. Thousands. I had a medical procedure and they go, yeah, this is your prescription. And I go to my Costco and they're like, yeah, it's going to be $300. You go, yeah, nope. You know what? Fuck it. I'll take whatever the fuck I was having beforehand and go back to my doctor. And the doctor goes, oh yeah, just here's a fucking generic. It was $12.
Yeah. Like it's outrageous that you get stuff like that in general, right? Is that you have the generic versus the name brand, but then you get the shit like that Martin Shkreli dude that happened a while ago. I think it was an insulin drug.
Yeah, no, it wasn't insulin. It wasn't insulin.
Was it insulin?
HRV. HIV.
Okay, that's what it was.
No.
So he
Close.
took a pill that was roughly like $5 and then skyrocketed up just because he could to like over 1,000 per one pill.
So
It's like,
you got to watch that documentary. The documentary's on Hulu. And they basically just talk about how he was misunderstood. He was a shitty person, like they think he had Asperger's or something. But they try to, like, one of the things that they do cover is, so Mark really didn't do anything wrong. That's why he didn't go to jail for
I mean,
rising.
technically, no.
No, hold on. So he didn't do anything wrong in the sense of raising the price of a drug.
Right.
Most drug companies do this on the regular,
Right.
right? They buy a drug that a lot of people don't need, and then, like, because it costs so much to develop new drugs, so they basically buy a drug that not that many people don't need, or not a lot of people need, and then they price hike it. And the goal of price hiking is for the insurance company to pay it, not for the people. What happens is that the insurance companies are like, no, I'm not paying that much, or they deny the coverage. So then what they do is, if you reach out to the company that sells the pill, the company that sells the pill will send you a rebate to get it for the price that it should be.
Sometimes,
But
not always.
it's no, not always. It's something like, there's little hassles that you got to go through, like, to prove your case. Like, you do not fit you can't afford it. You can't afford it, and your insurance company denied you. Like, you had to go through all the proper steps.
Sure.
The
sure.
point, the
But
only no, I'm not, no, none of this is to defend Martin Shkreli. What I did find out though was, I thought, like how Terrance just prefaced it, this dude just took a drug and then raised the price on it just because he could, right? But what actually happened was, he took a drug and raised the price on it because other motherfuckers were doing the same shit. They just weren't. So the drug actually cost. So the original drug only cost $1. Another drug company bought it and raised it to $5, and another drug company raised it to $13, and then he bought it at $13 and raised it to $7.50.
Yeah, that's what it was. It's like goddamn near $1,000.
Yeah, but they even bring a guy on. They bring a guy on, and the guy was like, "I don't feel like this was the norm. I just feel like I was lucky." And I was like, but how his story went, I was like, I don't think you were lucky. I think that was the norm. So basically, the guy comes on. He's like, "Yo, like, I was supposed to get this drug. I couldn't get the drug. My insurance company denied me the drug. I messaged Martin Shkreli on live and, like, tell him, like, yo, like, I've tried to get this drug. They won't give me the drug and it's too expensive." And Martin Shkreli was like, "Yo, send me your information," and then sent the guy like 6 months supply of the shit for free, and gave him the yeah.
I mean, it's like one of those things where, like, now we got to win a fucking contest and shit in order to get affordable medication.
I know that's the thing, is like, oh, so
No,
I
you
have
gotta jump through loopholes, because their goal is to try to fuck over the insurance company, because the insurance companies have the money.
I got you.
I mean, it's still just dirty business, because they know at the end of the day, insurance companies still hold that power. It's fucking crazy. I just wonder, man, like, the internet's going to have fun with this, right? Because the internet nowadays loves to hate on successful people. And so I look at, like, somebody like Mark Cuban, I kind of wonder how, the Twitter mob specifically is going to go when they look at somebody who's a billionaire, who they love to hate rich people. So, oh, he's doing something good, but fuck him because he's rich.
Yeah, but
now
like, Mark Cuban is
fucking around
one of those different stories, bro.
Agreed, but people still will hate. It don't matter how different your story is, how much of a success you are. People are still gonna fucking hate. You know this.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes, but not when you don't.
We all need a medication. We all need medication, and someone's gonna be like, "Well, I mean, I hate the motherfucker, but I mean, for $5."
That's what I'm saying. Like, Mark Cuban, like, all right, most they were talking about this shit. I was listening to this on something else, where it was like, most billionaires are inherently evil. People automatically assume billionaires are inherently evil. But when you look at, like, somebody like Mark Cuban, not Zuckerberg, sorry, Mark Cuban, who, I know, right? Mark Cuban, who worked in his parents' garage, who didn't have a lot of money, worked side hustles, didn't have a lot of money, developed something during the fucking .com bubble, sold that shit, and literally just sits back and gives people money for like as a venture capitalist. Like that's how he sustains his billions. You know what I'm saying? Like even like you hear Mark Cuban's story, they didn't even want him in the NBA because they were scared that he was going to try to jump on the court and play basketball too. Like, like literally that came up in his interview to be own the team in the NBA. But I think Mark Cuban has always tried to do something good for people to make up for the fact that he's a billionaire.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's funny too that his got bought out by Yahoo, and they bought it for dumb money to make him dumb rich, and then it all went defunct. That's the funniest part of it.
His thing was, which is crazy. He had an idea and he capitalized on it. Basically, the .com boom. He had like it was a radio station. He was like, "Oh, you guys want to hear? I don't know, whatever Dallas sports, anywhere online." And he basically put a phone connected to a computer that was listening to the radio, and he streamed that. And that's how he made his fucking millions. Think about how crazy that is.
That fucking hurts me to know that it was that goddamn simple.
I mean, it wasn't that simple. Lloyd just made that real simple, but it was basically what Lloyd said.
In essence, it was that.
I mean, sure, you need to know some things, but hooking up a phone to a radio so people not in Dallas could listen to Dallas radio, that's fucking, who thought of that? Dude. Oh, I wish I could hear my home radio station. And then you're like, I can make that happen.
And now everybody can listen to a fucking AM and FM radio on their phone.
You got to bring the entertainment to the people, which that's what we're going to talk about in this last topic here, right? Entertainment to the people. This is a comedy podcast. So let's talk about our comedy folks with Colin Jost and Pete Davidson. Did y'all see the news? I mean, it appears that they bought a defunct ferry boat and they're making it a floating comedy club.
Oh, that was actually real. That's
a real thing.
I thought that was a joke.
No, that's what I thought at first. I was like, okay, this is really funny. But no, apparently they've been eyeing it out for a little while that it cost them just over like $250,000. I think it was like $280K. I know, right? Like,
they just pissed it. They just pissed it out and then made a comedy club. Okay.
Somebody said that Pete's already spending Kim K's money.
I mean, the three of them to come up with $250,000 is not difficult.
That's not saying. Dude, Colin.
Yeah, I was about to say, bro, come on, bro.
Between both of them.
I mean, you could easily rent out room, like make rooms of the penthouse and rent those out for $4,000, $5,000 a month.
Easily. But I was sitting here looking at it. It's like, dude, that's the fucking beauty of comedy, though, right? Is as much as we sit here and we work at it and we're in bars and we're doing this and we're always trying to get to the clubs and theaters and everything. It is general rule, right? You're trying to get to the clubs and theaters, and it's like, you can make it happen anywhere, man. All you got to do is be funny, be likable, and market yourself, and you can fucking do it anywhere. I love that shit. I just don't have the $250,000 to lay on a ferry, you know?
Yeah, I was about to say, I need a loan.
Yeah. But I feel like in New York, you're like, yeah, I'm buying a boat for $250,000. They'd let you, like, I feel like you can get a $250,000 loan in New York because everything is $1 million or more.
Yeah. They're like, you provided a proof of residence here. We'll approve you for $500,000 because that's pretty much what you have to be walking around.
Now, dude, the one thing I learned about being up here in New York is the brokest people have the best credit up here. Like, credit is everything in New York, son. Like, I'm being so rare. Like, it's dudes up here who have like $10 in their pocket with like 720 credit scores. Like, it's different. So it's like, because everything up, you got to rent a room up here, you got to have 700 credit score. To rent a place.
Yeah, and could you imagine him sitting down alone? It's like, yeah, it's like 10,000 square feet. Like, okay, $10 million? No, $250,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have to listen to that pitch for $250,000.
What'd you think of that 50 square foot room that we're putting you up in? It's good. It's good New York.
Hey, there's Eddie. Okay, well, I got to get out of here. I don't know if you want to close out. You guys want to continue? But
yeah, let's close it out, man. I gotta get them moving.
Yep, we got stuff going, baby. So with that, troublemakers, we hope to see y'all next week, later this week. Stay in trouble, stay talking shit, and go Chiefs. Go Chiefs.
I love you.
How about those Chiefs?
Fuck the Chiefs. Fuck the Chiefs.
Can't you just cheer them on like as we go, like towards the end?
Hold on, someone's
with it. That's why I'm mad with it. With it. With it.
Everybody thought somebody else else is
Straight
gonna
out
hit
the
the
trap
button.
with it. Whatever you want, whatever you need, it's on tab. Get it? That's why I'm mad
I
with
was
it.
just about to end it.
That's why I'm mad with it.